Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Can you all hear my voice clearly?
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you, Fadel, for your response. Okay, dear sisters and brothers, sorry for being late today. Yeah, we just finished the meeting, and I wish that you have already read some references in my class. And by the way, right now we have been in the planned meeting of the applied macroeconomics. And yesterday I had put some information about the attendance and materials, yeah, also some activities that you can do concerning with the macroeconomic classes. Okay, sisters and brothers, today we come to the very interesting discussion actually. The question, and you can combat and you can um, match with the existing situation concerning with our economy, whereby the economy, uh, if you remember last time, the president of Indonesia mentioned, or the Ministry of Finance also mentioned that the economy is going to be slowing down, and even the uh, economic uh, ministry, yeah, mentioning that the economy right now is going to be in the recession period. So by looking at and going to discuss issue a little bit clear and a little bit detailed, and you can post your questions in the middle when you have any discussions. Okay, we can start now. By the way, you can also open your slides in my class. Okay, business cycles. Um, I put here the title about, is the economy getting better or worse? Yeah. So, sisters and brothers, for a couple of last weeks, you had learned some issues concerning with the macroeconomics conditions. Last 3 weeks, you had learned about national incomes, and last 2 3 weeks, you had learned about inflation, also about international trade, yeah, exchange rate, yeah, and even you have learned about growth, economic growth. And right now, we come to the issue that those things that we had discussed previously basically are related to the business cycles. Yeah. So business cycles are basically is the cycles where um, shows you about the dynamic of the economy due to the um, unpredictable environments. So business cycles can capture actually to what extent the economy is growing, or to what extent the economy is maybe sluggish or getting worse. Yeah. So here we can just look at the study from the two perspectives, yeah, from the microeconomics and macroeconomics. Yeah, I think you had already understood micro related with study of the personal or small finances, including you as individuals, families, or businesses. And the macroeconomics, the study in a large scale, yeah, national and global economies. And business cycles are capturing these two things into single pictures that will show you the dynamic environments that happening either from internal perspective or internal factors or external factors. Yeah. Okay, next. Okay. So now how to proxy about business cycles? I think you are questioning me now. How should we determine to what extent the recession or depression perhaps, yes, happening? So recession occurs before depressions. So depression occurs after the recessions. So it means the depression is the worst case, yeah, compared to the recessions. So if the economy happens to be the depressions, so it means that the degree of the recession has been prolonged, yeah, has been occurring for a long time. Yeah. So the proxy to measure the business cycles, usually the researchers or some policymakers, they're using the GDP, gross domestic product. Yeah. So the GDP basically tries to calculate to what extent the total output and services that produced in a particular year by a same particular country, either by the domestic citizen or the foreign citizen in the country. Yeah. So the GDP here is the abbreviation of the gross domestic product and will be used to proxy the business cycles. Yeah. If you have any question, you can just intervene me. Yeah. You can just stop me and ask your questions, sisters and brothers. So what does GDP tells us? Yeah. So why GDP is used to proxy the business cycles? Yeah. Because GDP here, yeah, will show you to what extent the economy has been expanding or shrinking. Yeah. And on this regard, brother, yes.
I'm sorry, your voice is not clear enough.
Okay.
Is my voice clear now?
Yes, of course.
Yes, you're good,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. Sorry for because I'm hearing a earphone, and I don't know if you I using two devices. Yeah. I use my handphone and my laptop, and I can hear my voice in my handphone. So I presume that my voice has reached you in the better voice. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I will just take it out and without earphone. Okay, I can continue. Sorry. So here, if you look at the GDP, yeah, we consider two kind of GDP. The first is about GDP nominals and GDP real GDP. So if you want to proxy business cycles, yeah, you can and you should use the real GDP, not nominal GDP. Yeah. Why 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 you should use the real GDP? Because the real GDP basically measures the total output and services that Indonesia or a country produce in a year without taking inflation as the component in calculating the GDP. So the inflation is the factors that can boom and push the value of the GDP that seems to be very huge or very high, but in reality the GDP is small because the inflation has inflated or compounded the value of the GDP. So the GDP somehow does not really capture the real value of the output and services that produce in particular year. So my humble suggestion for you, if in the future you're going to research business cycles and you take GDP as your variables, maybe you can consider GDP real as your proxy or premise. Yeah. So in the screen you can see, sisters, if the GDP is larger than last year, the economy is expanding or getting bigger. And if the GDP is smaller, the economy is shrinking or getting smaller. So you can now thinking and maybe contemplating where the Indonesian economy is located, whether expanding or shrinking. You and I agree that the Indonesian economy is shrinking because the last GDP is bigger compared to the existing GDP. Yeah, because of the many factors. Yeah. If you have any question, please just raise, yeah, and don't be shy. Yeah, I'm so happy to entertain your questions. The next one, we come to the business cycles. Okay, could you please, Arik, read the screen, please, Arik?
Okay, sir. Uh, the business cycle allows people to understand the direction the economy or the GDP is going, growing, or shrinking, and plan accordingly.
Next.
The, the economy follows the business cycle regularly.
Okay, you can just imagine and think, sisters. Business cycles allows people to understand the directions. This is the underlying words. Directions of the economy is going and plan accordingly. You see, the sisters and brothers, you are as the economists must understand when we are and what we are going to do. Otherwise, your policy making process will not attaining the maximum or optimum positions. For example, yeah, right now, the economy of Indonesia is going down or shrinking. Yeah, the economic growth is lower compared to the previous year. Last year, we can grow almost 5%, but now I think 4% is challenging, yeah, for Indonesian economy because the pandemic is getting worse and the economic transaction is not as good as compared before. So by these conditions, yeah, what should government do looking at these existing situations? Yeah, if you look at from the business cycle perspective, yeah, for particularly looking at the signals policy response. What is the signals policy response? The signals policy response is the preferred policy directions given by the government through interest rate. So Bank Indonesia frequently release the updated condition of the economy, and then the governor of Indonesia announced, yeah, the existing rate or interest rate that must be followed and used and referred by another institutions. And this interest rate, sisters and brothers, basically the signals where the economy will be heading, whether expanding or shrinking. In my understanding, if the interest rate is going up or the interest rate is increasing, so it is the signals that the economy is going to be expanding. Why it happens? Because if interest rate increasing, yeah, as the policy signals, yeah, so it does mean that there are so many money supply. There are many supplying the economy because the people here has extra money or extra spending, so the money supply in the economy will be much more compared to before. So the policymaker must respond this extra money supply by increasing the interest rate. And the way around, if the economy is shrinking, so how come the government will increase the interest rate? If the government increases the interest rate, for sure nobody will be triggered, yeah, to lend or borrow the money. So by this condition, the business cycles will tell you, will get you, and recommend the governments to slowing down or lowering the interest rate. Because by lowering interest rate, the bank and the financial institutions try to attract the people, yeah, to lend the money or borrow the money, so the economic cycle will be running again or working again. So the policy making process in every single economy, by the way, sisters and brothers, being honest, it must be referred to the business cycles. So if you can understand business cycle, you can put the position where we are in the business cycles. You are the policymakers, will be easily to implement the policy. And this is the essence of economics, students. Yeah. The next one. Here, I will show you the basis of business cycles. So business cycles is the up and down positions, the dynamic up and down environments. And if you go into details, there are 4 phases. The first is expansion or growing part. The second one is peak one, peak the top one. So peak means is the position whereby the business cycle will be turning around, berbalik, yeah. So it'll be turning around. And the third one is contraction or shrinking. And the fourth one is true or bottom position. Yeah. So those are the phases of the business cycles. Let me see the graphs. Here, sisters. Please take attention of this business cycle phase. Here that I show you, yeah. Any questions, sisters?
Ada pertanyaan nggak?
Any questions? Okay. If there's no question, yeah. Okay. If you have a question, please mention your name and raise your question, please. Okay, please. Any questions? Okay. I can continue that. Okay, in the business cycles in the screen, you are shown. The first part is expansions. Here, expansion, the left-hand side here, the expansion part. Yeah. And the next one, yeah, the next one is the peak one. The peak one. The peak position, yeah, located in the top, yeah, the top position in the business cycles. Yeah. And the next one, yeah, is the contracting patch, the contracting piece here, yeah, contractions. And here is the true. And we go to the next one again and again. So in a business cycle, in the one cycles, yeah, I can just mention one cycle, yeah, here one cycle, at least it has 4 phases: expansion, peak, contraction, and true. And if you can see here, yeah, the one top here, peak and mid under the peak, we can say this is one frequency. Yeah, I think you remember when you were in the physics course, when you were in senior high school, we are given to understand that peak, mid with peaks is one frequency. And the peak here, mid the true, yeah, here is the amplitude. The amplitude. I think you remember when you were natural science students. Yeah. This one. Measure this amplitude. Amplitude, if you can measure this, yeah, you can even to what extent the economy has been in the has been moving up, yeah, moving up, and to what more amplitude this cycle has, it does mean that the gone up, yeah, has been gone up very fast. So this is good. That but bad if the economy suddenly going down, because if you have already in a very high position and and suddenly you fail and you jump down, so you will be severe, because the space, yeah, the distance is very far, yeah. So but differently, if just the thick one, thin one, not as long is not as tall as the before. So if suddenly the economy, the effect is not severe as the tall. So this is just the optional preference of the policymakers, whether the policymaker will choose to push the economy up dramatically or significantly, or the policymakers just want to promote the economy as the medium in the medium patch, not in the very high patch. So it's just the optional policy, preferred policy. Yeah. So the next one, any questions so far, sisters, brothers? Okay, next one. Okay, this is just the, if you want to know how we define the economic expansion or depressions or shrinking or expansions. So I give you here some indicators, some symptoms. Yeah, some symptoms. So you can recognize the symptoms. So you can argue that the economy is recession or not recessions. Here, these are the symptoms. The first one, during the period of expansions or period of the economic expanding, the first is wages increases. If the wage increases, so the economy means growing up. For sure, because the wage increases, many people are attracted to go to work, and then it does imply to the low unemployment rate. Yeah. And when the unemployment rate is decreasing, yeah, so the people are optimistic and spending money. Yeah, because everybody here is working, everybody here is having wage, everybody here is get a return. So the people are optimistic about the future of the economy. So they will spend money more because positive expectation happen into their mind. Yeah. So subsequently, yeah, because people are optimistic and money are spent very fast, demand will be there. So it means that the demand is growing up. Yeah. Demand growing up, so businesses will respond positively. The business will respond as the positive conduct in the demand side. Yeah. So business starts very fast as well. And the next one, because of business start and demand is good, people optimistic. So the bank will relax the loan. The bank will give you the loan of every people easily because the expectation is positive. Economy is growing, so easy to get a bank loan. And the last one, business make profit and stock prices increases. So because of everybody here optimistic, yeah, the bank is also very easy to give you capitals. And the people will get a wage with increased speed, and also the employment is very low, business very fast, starting around. So the profit also will be easy. Profit is reap or realized, and in the end, the value of the stock price will be increases. So from these some indicators, you can conclude, sisters and brothers, that the period of expansions basically is the period of the period of optimistic conditions. The period whereby the economy and also the people are happening to be very optimistic in looking at future economy. And they are signed by the positive response of some economic indicators. Interest rate very low, so stock prices increases, easy to get bank loans, yeah, and the demand is high. The supply will be eventually following the demand, yeah, and everybody here is satisfied. And also, the next one is the peak one. The peak is in the top conditions. When the economy cycles reach the peaks, yeah, so it does mean that the economy stop growing. If you if you can recall from our previous discussions, this condition of the reaching the top, meaning that the golden rule of the capital formation. So it has been reaching the top position, that the economy tends to be stopped and not will be growing as well, but will be following the cycles. I may say these conditions, if the economy is stopped, is pro-cyclicality. Yeah, so pro-cyclicality means that the economy is moving up and down, flowing the water, flowing the cycles. And this condition has been very um, uh, bad, and the policymakers is scared, yeah, of having this kind of positions, because if economy is stopped, it does mean that economy is starting to be recessions. Yeah, and next one, GDP reaches maximum. So GDP will be at the maximum level, and no probability, or very low probability, to be increased. Yeah. And the third one, business cannot produce anymore on hire more people because of economic stop growing. So the business owners will have negative expectations and also pessimistic conditions. So there is no any single labor force will be invited to work into the labor market. And the fourth one, cycle begins to contract. This is a condition whereby the policymakers very scared, and policymaker tries to prevent or mitigate the impacts if the contraction happens. Yeah. So you as the economic student should have the understanding on whether the economy has reached the optimal position or the top one. And if it is, so you need to look at some probability in policy making process, whereby you try to prevent or you want to mitigate the impacts of this peak position. Next one is this. It's about contractions. So once you have already reached we'll move to the contraction phase. So during the period of contractions, you will have some indicators or some signals. The first is business cut back production and lay off people. Yeah, rational, makes sense. The second one, unemployment increases. Sure. The number of jobs declined. People are pessimistic or negative and stop spending money. And banks stop lending money. Do you feel that these conditions happen now? Dimas, are you there?
Iya, Pak.
Okay, Dimas. From these indicators shown in the screen, do you think that they are happening in Indonesia now? Dimas, are you there?
Ya, ya, halo, Pak.
Do you
Yes,
think
Pak.
that contraction pace has been happening in Indonesia?
Contraction pace, Pak.
Yes, you can see from the screen, please.
Yes,
The
Pak.
screen shows you some indicators during the period of constructions. The question is whether those indicators happens in Indonesia now. Dimas, are you there? Okay, Dimas, I think you are quite busy. Where are you, by the way?
I mean, di kos, Pak, tapi the connection so bad.
Yeah, Yeah, I guess that you are a little bit hectic, yeah, and also you are not in the very conducive environment there, yeah. Okay, Dimas. I will just move to the other students. Sister Safira. Safira, are you with
Yes,
us?
sir.
Sister Safira. What do you
No,
think?
what is the question, sir? Sorry.
Okay, please pay attention to all of the students here. Yeah, we are now trying to discuss about the business cycles, and please pay attention on it. Yeah. Do you think that these conditions in the screen happen to Indonesia, Fira? Can you see in the screen? What in the screen tells you?
Yes, sir.
Why?
The problem of the economic is like many unemployment increases, so the job market also decline. The economic cycle are not going to turn around.
Okay, seems to be very weak. Yeah, Fira seems to be very tired. Rifki, Kaserio, Kurniawan, are you there? Rifki, are you with us?
Ya Pak, ya Pak.
Okay, Rifki. Where are you now, by the way,
Halo
Rifki?
Pak,
Yes, where are you?
halo Pak.
Yes, where are you now? Are you at home?
I'm around my home.
Okay, around my home. It means that you are out of the home.
Yes,
Okay, Rifki, please pay attention to the screen, even though you are not around at home. What do you think about the screen, please?
I think this is a period when the economic in country is decreasing. Like the first point, it is decreasing in production and layoff people like apa pemecatan itu Pak, PHK gitu Pak. Penurunan
Okay.
and the
Okay.
other is same like before, unemployment increasing because the layoff of people, number of jobs decline because because the production is decreased, so the job applied is more or less because the firm cannot increase their capability to production a product. And then the next is same like before, the pessimistic of to spend money because they cannot have gaji lebih income more than than normal situation.
Okay, okay. Okay, Rifki. Okay, thank you for your long explanations.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, next one I want to move to the Umron, Hoiri. Umron, I want to hear your voice, Umron. Are you there, Umron? Umron, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Yeah, what do you think, Umron, about the screen? Do you think that Indonesia right now happening to be in the recession period?
Sorry, please.
Do you
There was
think?
my
Do you think that Indonesia right now is on a period of recessions? You can see the answer from the screen. Yes, please, Umran.
Okay.
Yes.
Asia is in recession.
Okay, why?
Because okay. Because looking at the GDP, in 2020
Yeah.
is lesser than 2019. Plus, there are many unemployment right now.
Have you the data? So you are so convincing telling us about that.
Sorry.
Do you have data or do you have any details, information on that statement that you mentioned just now regarding with the economic growth and unemployment?
Well, I'm not sure, but when there was a homework about I guess the economy growth,
Mm.
graphic Indonesia is about sure in recession.
Okay, thank you, Umran, for your response. I do appreciate it yours. Yeah. Okay, the next one is Arik. Arik, you raise your hand. You have any questions?
Yes, sir. So, is contraction same with recession?
Okay, contraction actually is not same, but it is the close with the recessions, because the contraction happens because the business cycle is going down. So after the GDP stops, does not move up again, it has been in the peak in the top before turning around. So the cycle will be flowing through the cycle. Yeah. So will be going down. Yeah. So if the economy is going down, yeah, so time goes by, the economy is weakened. Yeah, weakening. And once weakening, recessions will happen. What's recessions? Recession means the economy is not expanding or even shrinking. This is Arik. If the recession happens to be very long, happen in the long run, it will lead to the depressions. So depression is the recession that happens in a very long period of time. And if the depression happens again and again, it is the signals that economy happens to be in crisis. Yeah, look like what we did and what we had 12 years ago and 22 years ago. This is Arik.
Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you, Arik. We can move first before we continue the discussions.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, please. Next one, true. The true one. So the true actually is the part of the cycle that happens after the contractions. So if the contraction happens, yeah, without any policy making activities, it will be going down, yeah, going down. Yeah. When the economic cycle reaches a true meaning the deep part, the deep of the cycle. Yeah. So economy has reached the bottom out, reaches the lowest point. So high unemployment and low spending, the signals, yeah, and stock prices drops. So if the stock prices drops, yeah, it does mean that economy is happening to be in the lowest positions. So, but when we hit bottom, nowhere to go but up. Can you understand? But when we hit bottom, nowhere to go but up unless. So if you go to the cycles, And if we have happens, if we have reached this the bottom or lowest point, there is two choices. There are two choices. The first, you will be go up, or you will be go up again in the different part. Yeah, in the different positions. You understand? I mean, there are two choices. You go up to the right part or to the right hand side. I mean this one. You go to this one, yeah, or you go up again, but to the left hand side, to this one, to this one. The same go up, but different ways. I want to asking your perspective now. I want to call and please with most welcome, Sister Fatwa. Fatwa, are you with us?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You can see from the screen, and I just now I mentioned, there are two choices happens. If we have already reached the bottom up, sorry, the bottom out, the lowest point, we will go to the right hand side or we will go to the left hand side. Both of them are dealing or heading to the better position or not better, up position. Which one that you prefer, Fatwa? Left hand side or right hand side? Did you understand my questions?
Yes, sir.
Please, Fatwa, can you respond? Fatwa, are you there?
Yes, maybe left side, sir.
Yes. Why? Why? What the reason, Fatwa?
I don't know the reason, sir. I'm sorry.
Okay, you must read again and read again. Next one, Adinda. Sister Adinda, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sister Adinda? Okay, I just want to ask your thoughts, Adinda. Which part that you prefer, left hand side or right hand side if you had reached the bottom out or the lowest point? Please. Where, Adinda? Which one that you prefer if you are as the government or policy maker?
I think the right side.
The right side. Any ideas?
Because if we
Yes, please. Please, Adinda. Turn on your voice first, please.
because if we reach the bottom side, I think we can grow into the highest point from the lowest point.
Okay. Okay. Sisters and brothers, yeah. I give you the two perspective. In economic perspective, basically, it is based on the argumentations. There is no right or wrong, but it depends on the argumentations. It depends on the reasons. It depends on the thought. It depends on the which one that will be giving you the best alternative. minimize the loss and maximize the profit, or minimize the loss, yeah, and maximize the benefits. Yeah. Let me see, sisters and brothers. If you are now in the position of the lowest or the true one, you have two choices. Whether you will go to the right hand side, it means that you are ready to boarding again. Yeah. You ready to be, sorry, to take off again. Yeah. Take off again. So if you go to the right hand side, so it means that you are ready with the new normal. So the new normal also being recognized in economics issue, not only for the health, but we have understood for long ago that the new normal happens because of the new phases in the business cycles. So in the new phases, in the true positions or the new normal, and if you choose the right hand side, you ready to take off. You will go the normal consideration and situation. Will go through the expansion pace, the peak pace, yeah, the contraction pace, and the true pace again, and again. But if you go to the left hand side, yeah, you want to conduct a counter-cyclical policy. Yeah. So I repeat again, if you select or prefer the left hand side, you try to conduct counter-cyclical policy. You want to oppose the cycle. Yeah. You want to oppose the cycle. You don't be in the next phase of the cycle, but you want to be in opposite directions, and you want to go back again to the optimum positions or the peak position as previously has achieved. Yeah. If you ask me which one that Pak Dimas prefer, yeah, in my humble understanding, yeah, if you want to go to, if you have been in the true, yeah, in the lowest points, in my humble experience, understanding, and thinking, yeah, I prefer to go through right hand side. Because in the right hand side, we are in a new normal, and every situation has been very new, and we just collecting our new energy, our traditions, our resources, yeah, and policy to take off again. But if you try to oppose to the left hand side, for sure you need extra energy, because you just fall and you just go down, and you don't have enough energy and resources, but you want to oppose the cycles. So it will need extra energy, extra attentions, and extra capabilities. And I think some of the governments agree with us. We come up with a new normal, and we come up with the starting point with the new again to the right hand side. Yeah. Okay. Next one, sisters. Here, the recession or depressions. I just want to recall, yeah, a prolonged contractions is called a recession. Just now, Brother Ari questioned me, what is recession, what is depression, what is the contractions?
Okay.
Here, yeah, you are given to understand that a prolonged contraction that happen in a very long time, usually 6 months and beyond, yeah, so it is considered as recessions. And a recession of more than a year is called as depressions. So if you compare and contrast with only Indonesian case, right now since March 2020, we have been in the in the contraction phase. Our GDP has been contracted and will be string and reduced, yeah, time to time. So if it happened for the 6 months, like now has been in the November, and we started the pandemic since March, so it's been more than 6 months. So it has been 6 months, so it not longer as the recessions, yeah. And but also we almost reach the depressions. So if the government is not successfully counter these activities situations for 1 year, so we'll fall into depressions periods. But now we are in the period of the recession right now. So we do agree right now whether there is a recession. If the GDP is shrinking for over next 4 or 6 months, you can answer them, yes, we are recession. If it happens more than 1 year, depression happens. Let me see until March next year whether the GDP is still shrinking or expanding. Hopefully not shrinking, so we will far away from depression period. Okay, any other question, please, sisters and brothers, before I continue? Okay, next. So the question is, what keep the business cycle going? I think you're asking me, what make the business cycle up and down? So there are files things in the business cycle. Okay, let me ask somebody else to read. I want to hear the voice of Burhan. Burhan, are you there, Burhan?
Yes, sir.
Could you please read number 1? Could you please number 1, Burhan? Business investment, please.
Okay. Business investment. When the economy is expanding, sales and profit keep rising. So companies invest in new plants and equipment, creating new jobs and more expansion. In contraction, the opposite is true.
Okay. You are now understood, Burhan, that during the economic expansions, every single activity is growing up. Sales, profit, stock prices, jobs, yeah, they are growing very good. But the opposite direction will be happens during contraction phase. Okay, thank you. The next one. I want to hear Sister Elvina, please. Sister Elvin, number 2. Sister Elvin is there? Okay, so Elvin is not there. Okay, interest rate and credit. Yeah, so low interest rate, companies make new investments, adding jobs. When interest rate climbs, investment dries up and less job growth. So you can see from interest rate that I mentioned before, the interest rate, low interest rate means the economy is going up. The economy is starting to up. Yeah, so the low interest rate will be the new engine how to boost the economic growth. Yeah. The third one is consumer expectations. The forecast of an expanding economy fuels more spending, while fear of a recession decreases consumer spending. So right now, I think everybody here during the pandemic they are quite slow in terms of the spending compared to the previously, because they do fear that unpredictable occurs, yeah, in the futures, so it may danger their jobs and their income. So some of the people now try to save the pocket and then put it in the bank or put in the saving accounts. So everything now is not as smart as before, decreasing consumer spending particularly. And the fourth one, external shocks. Yeah. So external shocks here, such as disruption of the oil supply, wars, or natural disasters, greatly influence the output of the economy. So therefore, sisters and brothers, if you see from these four sectors, now we are happening to be not quite safe. Every country now intervene other countries. They want to get wars to the other countries, and this activity will make other country will not safe, because what happened in the external sectors will affect the internal sectors. I may call as external adverse shocks. So the shocks that coming from the external environment that cannot be managed by internal countries. So moreover, Indonesia as the small and open economy, we cannot manage all the external and disruptions such as war, pandemics, yeah, and others, because we are small but open. So these external sectors is among of the most important sectors that may danger and harms the economic cycles of Indonesian economy. I think if you are interested next time, sustainability, you can go some research which one among the four sectors are considered to be the best or the most influential factors. Yeah. Who cares? Why should you care about the business cycle economy? So why you should learn this course? Because if you have understood this course, you can conduct the preventive actions. Yeah, preventive action can be done. Yeah. And the next one, don't quit their jobs. Yeah. If I can read, okay, sorry for a while. Okay, yeah. So if I can read again, don't quit the jobs. If the economy is going into contractions, yeah, jobs will become more scarce. May I correct? Like you can imagine and you can feel by your own. If you quit, you may not find other jobs. I repeat again. This statement is very important statement and you can take into your accounts. If the economy is going into arrest contractions right now, look like now, job will become more scarce. Yeah, as you mentioned before, every companies will try to barrier or to limit the number of jobs. And if you quit, you may not find another job, perhaps. Yeah. And the second one, but if the economy is in a period of expansions, jobs are readily available. It may be a good time to switch careers. So this is just the humble argumentations in the labor markets, and this labor market actually following the business cycles movements. So understanding business cycles will equip you with the more broad understanding when you should be in and when you should be out to whatever condition and situations. Yeah. The next one. The next one. Should I make a big purchase? Yeah. So please imagine and think of it. Should I make a big purchase? Big questions. Only if you know that you will not lose your job in the contractions. So buy your house during an expansion. I repeat again. Only if you know that you will not lose your job in the contraction, you remain in the labor markets, you remain in the job markets. So buy your house during the expansions. So by assuming that you still have regular income during the contraction phase, yeah. So you should buy a house during the expansion. However, when the economy starts to slow down, however, when the economy starts to slow down, it means that the economy from the expansion has been in the top and start to down. Interest rate will decrease. Yeah. So after the economy pass the top or the peak conditions, interest rate will decrease. Wait to buy a house until the rate drops to the low point. This is the strategy, you see. If the economy has passed the peak conditions, it means that the economy is ready to go down. Yeah. So the interest rate will decrease. But don't do any purchase until the economy has reached the new normals. It means the economy has reached the lowest limit. Because in the lower limits, the rate of interest rate will be at the lowest level. Yeah. If you are sure you will not lose your jobs. Yeah. So from these two statements, sisters and brothers, we can conclude actually. What's the conclusions? During the contraction phase, yeah, please you take some saving. Yeah. During the contraction phase, such as now, please keep your money in the banks. Please do some investment activities that make your money is not just burn, yeah, with waste activities. But during the expansion phase, yeah, you can spend your money, yeah, and also make the economic activity that could give you the good returns. So the short words, keep the money during and spending the money during the expansion. This is the keywords, this is the wise decisions during the business cycles. Okay, I think I have been in the last slide of presentations. If you have any question, please. Any feedbacks or you have any inquiries, please.
So
Any questions?
I wanna ask.
Okay, please, sisters, please.
What the characteristic of a country called a recession, and now Indonesia is already a country of recession or not?
Okay. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, thank you for the question, Nana. Yeah, the simple indicators that the country fall into recession. First, yeah, the first one, the interest rate is very low. Yeah, the first indicators, you can think of it. The first, the interest rate released by central banks is very low. This is the first one. And the second factors, yeah, the inflations, yeah, somehow is going up. Yeah, the inflation somehow is going up. Why happens? Because during the recessions, no purchasing power has by everybody because of they are losing the jobs. Yeah, because of losing the jobs, they don't have purchasing power parity. Yeah, so that by having no income, no demand, yeah, so that they cannot afford the goods and services because of the price keep increasing. And the third one, yeah, the third one usually, yeah, the stock market price decreasing or drops because the stock markets indicate the emotional perspective among investors. Yeah, and the last one usually, yeah, is the people are not willing, yeah, to lend the money from the banks, and also the bank usually give you the very complicated requirements, yeah, so that you will not be easy, yeah, to borrow money from the banks. So please think of it, sisters and brothers. Interest rate, inflations, jobs, banks, and stock markets. If all of this, yeah, are happening in Indonesia right now, it means that we are in the recession. If you think that some of the 5 indicators are not happening in Indonesia, yeah, it means, yes, it means that we are still in the process of contraction pace. We are still heading to the recession. We are not in the recession at all. So please differentiate, sisters and brothers, from the recessions and heading to recession. Heading to recessions mean contractions, but recessions, the another one. Recession means the one has been reached the slowing down activities. This is Sister Nana that I can answer from your questions.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, another other question, please.
So, sir.
Okay, please, Arik.
Sorry, I use Indonesian language. Recession itu harus Pak, harus diumumkan oleh presiden gitu apa? Maksudku tuh harus diumumkan apa nggak usah diumumkan juga sudah pada tahu resesi gitu, apa gimana, Pak?
Okay, Arik, yeah. You see that government has a very pivotal role, very important role in managing the economy. And the government is assumed to understand all the conditions that happen in our economy. And what the government policy release or response is basically a signals for the business, for the individuals, and for external sectors how to respond the government or policy. So in my humble understanding, Arik, that whatever activity, whatever condition that a nation has, it must be announced clearly to the economy, to the societies. because society need to prevent or need to mitigate the possible risk that would be happens because of the recessions. So you are as the individuals, you are as the household need some preparation how to handle or mitigate the impact of the recessions. Otherwise, we are more severe. Yeah, we will be perished because of these conditions. So the president here must announce as the high commander of this country so that every citizen in this country can mitigate, prevent, or prepare the possible risk that happens to them because of these conditions. This is Arik, my answer.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay, another question, Arik. You can just asking more question if you have.
Enough, sir. Enough.
I think you are so interested to learn and discuss about this issue, because this issue basically is the assisting issue in the government about recession. Yeah, and some of the discussions I know they are discussing about whether we are recession or not, and I have told you what is the indicators of recession, what the difference of contraction with recession, what is business cycles, all the things are related to each other. And now you have had that information and you have the capacity and skills to explain to your peers and your environments about the recession topics. Okay, next, any other questions? We have been in the 3 p.m. Any questions? Or any other response, feedbacks? Yes, Adinda, please.
I want to ask about the previous slides. Why do external shocks keep the business cycle going, while the natural disaster can reduce income by losing assets?
Okay, sisters. Let me see again from the factors, that may influence the business cycles. Yeah, you can see here, sisters and brothers, we have 4 variables: business investment, interest rate, consumer expectations, and external shocks. If you ask me, and I question you someday, which one among the 4 variables that should be taken into account seriously? I can answer is external shocks, because the 3 previous variables, business investment, interest rate, and also here the consumer expectations, those are variable are inside our capabilities, inside our capacity, inside our environments. So those variables are within our regions, within our scopes. But for the external shocks is somehow beyond our control, isn't it? You cannot control the condition of other countries. You cannot manage the situation happens in the China. You cannot manage the unpredictable activities that give the severe effect to your country from external factors, from external countries. Therefore, the external country here is the most important aspect that must be taken into account by the governments, because the reason because of beyond the control of the governments, including the natural disasters here. You cannot manage the eruption of the mountain, isn't it? You cannot stop the mountain eruptions, but you can still manage the interest rate. You can still manage the money supply. You still can manage the investments. This is Sister Nana. So the external shocks means the shocks that coming from the external environment or beyond the capacity of the internal governments. This is Nana. Oh, sorry, Adinda.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, most welcome. Any other questions? Seems to be very interesting. Any other, please? Okay, then, if you don't have any questions, yeah, I have put very simple assignments in my class, and please do answer that question by referring to some references. And you are given very relaxed time, almost 1 week, to think of it. And please put your arguments, and we will discuss inshallah next week. Okay, sisters and brothers, I think that's all our discussion today. Thank you very much for your very kind attention and very constructive discussions. And inshallah, we see you next week on the next topic. You can refer to the syllabus in my class. And please don't forget to conduct your assignment. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us. I end with Hamdallah together. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Thank you very much. See you next week. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
Waalaikumsalam.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.